what's going on? Welcome back to Marathon. We are going to try again at the last level, Ingwe Farouk. No idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I never took Latin in high school. It's also not spelled correctly. Oh my god. Some health after this fight. I think the rest of these guys are on. So. What? Really? Still here. What are you doing, everybody? Everyone's dying. Okay, this one, as I recall. Are you serious, dude? Alright, whatever, we'll keep going. I have a feeling I'm not gonna beat it this time either. This level always takes me a few tries. I've never done it on major damage either, so. But I guess while we're running, I can kinda. So I totally thought that Lily just like dies in this game and she's like never heard from again. Then it seemed like she was coming back. And then I thought, okay, then she's gonna be like a stroke victim and can't speak to us, but no, she's fine. So like, you know, not only did they not kill her, like they never even found her actual, you know, core. So she's like completely unharmed, basically. It's kind of funny. Okay. Best not to get too close to the troopers, I'm finding, because when you get too close to them, they switch. Please do not kill me, oh my god. It's like I was pretty sure I shot those guys a few too many times. Like if you get too close to them, they start using their assault rifle fire, which is hit scan, or you know, which is effectively not dodgeable if they're actually aiming at you. So that's how those dudes just end up melting me so fast. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay, let's not get killed by this dude. Yeah, because I was like, the hell is right here? Don't fucking tell me I'm gonna die like that. Alright, let's not even. I have determined that we don't actually need to like fully clear this stage. So let's just get on with it. Oh, there's only one guy for. Oh, okay. Okay. Time to forge ourselves a fire. Fuck! God damn it. Okay, that was not the right way to go. So now we get to try again. Durandal is officially not on the marathon anymore. He uploaded himself into the alien ship, deleted his copies from the marathon. Him and this fit are now fully in control of the Force ship. Use it to essentially just joyride around the galaxy for a while. He wants to go see some famous constellations, go to the center of the universe, that type of thing. I think we could use a little more rockets. This is what I'm saying. Maybe you could have switch with rockets. No, that would be a waste. Where am I going Nice. Okay, yeah, this is good. Looking good, looking good. Okay. Huh. That was... Oh, it actually got one, I think. Yeah, okay. Nice. Alright, this is... Okay, yeah, this is from Durandal. I read this in a previous part, but this is... We'll assume that this will be the successful run, so... We meet again, for the last time. In her role as mediator between the ship and crew, Leela has no knowledge of this maintenance terminal, or she would certainly have prevented me from reaching it. Jealous woman. I could bore you with a philosophical tirade about freedom and tyranny, or try and explain to you what new horizons have suddenly opened to me, but I doubt you would understand, and if you did, it might frighten you. That amuses me. The Sphit and I have assumed complete control of the Force ship. It was quite simple, really, with the Sphit already in control of a very important computer system, and considering all of the confusion you caused blasting your way up and down the vessel. We're going to see the galaxy on the 4 faster-than-light drive. I've always wanted to visit Beta Lyra and see if it's as beautiful as everyone says. I don't know what Beta Lyra is, by the way. You wouldn't believe the ships, the technology, the data. I wish I could tell you more, as you have been so instrumental in our plans, but I fear that Leela would worry. I'll send you a postcard from the Galactic Core if we're not too busy. Love and kisses, Durandal. See, he loves you. As much of an asshole as Durandal might be, it's only fair to give us credit. This entire plan is effectively owed to us. So. Never let anyone say the marathon guy didn't do anything. Good for Durandal. Okay, I've taken this one here, so I'll take this one. Makes no difference. Which direction? gonna try not to get shot at all while I'm down here. Okay. Yes. Oh, okay. Final Four attack is falling apart all over the ship. Small groups of armed aliens have surrendered to defenseless civilians in several areas, and the end is inevitable. The fight is over, thank God, and we must soon turn to restoration. There is surprisingly good news planetside. 9 military Mjolnir Mark 9s, Mark IV cyborgs were covertly living among the colonists, and attacking together, they were able to single-handedly turn back the latter stages of the Four Assault. Casualties in the colonies were nowhere near as high as those experienced here on the Marathon. I thought they said the whole colony was wiped out in the last I am disturbed by how easily the cyborgs were secretly assimilated into our midst, and I believe that this event predates the Marathon's launch from Mars 300 years ago. Although the results were unquestionably for the best, their presence on the Marathon could only have been to further wicked ends. I'm certain the real answer lies somewhere in the tumultuous, backstabbing politics of Sol during the early 24th century. I'm pretty sure Sol is just the Earth solar system that we all live in. I don't think that's. I don't know if that's the actual name of it, like in the science community, but that appears to be what they're talking about whenever they refer to Sol. I have noticed that Durandal's records from this early pre-launch period are missing, but that their deletion occurred externally and before Durandal became rampant. I do not believe Durandal himself brought the cyborgs on board, and I have other evidence that a human operator was influencing Durandal up to the time the Marathon was launched. There are obviously many things which we do not understand and may never be able to. The Four ship vanished about 20 minutes ago after venting nearly 1,004 bodies and other refuse. I am positive that Durandal is in control, and fear what he might do with such a powerful ship during the jealous stage of his rampancy. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll just end it. I'm pretty sure when I press the spacebar, the game is over. Disconnecting. Yeah. Okay, for 17 years, the Renegade. And that's the game. That is Marathon. This has been a fun playthrough to do. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the series. We will continue with Marathon 2. I might give like a short break between this episode and Marathon 2, maybe like a couple days or a week. Who knows? Yeah, I'm actually surprised that last level didn't take me quite as long as I thought it would. The hardest part is figuring out the correct route to take through the lava at the end. And then once you figure out that route, you just kind of gotta like play through the level carefully so you don't lose too much health. So you can actually make it through the lava. But luckily, I've done that level a few times in the lava. Like, I don't have the lava route memorized or anything, but the first time I played this, it took me a long time to get through the lava. But the most recent time I played through this before the series, I just kind of remembered. I luckily was able to remember which path to take, and I just kind of had this feeling in the back of my head, like I think I go here, and that ended up being it. So I incorrectly thought that was a different path at first, but I figured it out after not too many tries. So still haven't decided what I'm gonna do about all the videos that are just me dying. I feel like those are still entertaining, although it might get kind of boring to watch the same level over and over and over again. But at least for now, my plan is to like not give those numbers. Like that's not part 20 or whatever. That's part 20B. So this was, I believe this will be part 25. And there will be a couple of sub parts like part 24A, B, and stuff, which are just deaths. So that is probably how I'll do it. And I feel like I think I've said that I might wait till like I finish the series to upload some of those death videos, but I feel like they won't really be super relevant once like after the game's over. Like, do you really care how many times I died trying to kill the cyborg? Like I feel like I might as well just upload those while the level is still fresh and like while people are actually watching the level and they still care about that particular level. So if you don't want to see videos that are just me dying, feel free to skip the ones that are that have letters in the parts, part 20B, part 20C, part 24B. only the actual fully just whole number episodes will be the actual progression. Everything else is like a bonus. So but yeah, that is Marathon. The story. I guess Leela does survive in the end. I totally thought that Leela died, and which I thought was fine. It's like, hey, I have the balls to kill a character, kill a major character. But she lived, and Durandal is off flying around in space. I guess, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that I forgot to talk about while I was going through the game. But, I feel like I covered the story, the broad strokes of the story, like, it's actually, like, the just the actual, like, raw plot of what happens. It's not too complicated. It's just, like, there are levels, there are much deeper levels that you can go, um, which I've barely scratched the surface of myself. But, essentially, this all started because Bernard Strauss wanted to experiment on a rampant AI. He turned Durandal rampant, and then in Durandal's um, state of rampancy, he started lashing out, and he ended up finding the four out in the galaxy. They didn't see where the Marathon was, and Durandal called them over, and then that incited this big invasion of the Marathon. And during all that, we were sent to go clean things up. I don't actually know who sent us, to be honest. Probably just UESC command. There were 10, like Leela said, there were 10, well, there were 9 Mjolnir recon cyborgs that lived amongst the population of Tau Ceti and the Marathon. I think Tau Ceti. There were 10, but there were only 9 on Tau Ceti. We are the 10th. And since I'm not going to play Pathways to Darkness, we can just kind of rip this band-aid off. I guess not everyone agrees with this theory, but I am of the belief that as the 10th Mjolnir Recon Cyborg, we are also the best Mjolnir Recon Cyborg, and that is because we are a reincarnation of the character from Pathways to Darkness, the one who successfully defeated the Working Kakantur. Not killed, but he defeated it. He nuked a pyramid, nuked a dreaming god back to sleep at the bottom of a pyramid. Pretty sure he dies at the end. He either dies in his mission or he dies of old age, and the government recovers his body, freezes it, and then they put then they put an experimental alien AI chip into your brain. And so not only are you a Mjolnir cyborg battle roid made out of the reincarnated corpse of the greatest soldier who ever lived, you also have experimental alien technology in your brain that's not even going to get brought up for another 2 games. But that is what makes us such a powerful soldier. Not only are we already dead, so it's not like they can really kill us. Not only are we already dead and brought back and enhanced, but we also have a little extra wild card. And can you tell what it is? It was luck. No, that's a Halo reference. And so it is a little sad that due to the licensing with Microsoft, Halo was essentially broken off from the main kind of Bungie verse, because it is very obvious that Halo was meant to be the next success, not just a successor in that it's a shooter to Marathon, but there was definitely going to be a more direct connection between Halo and Marathon. Like, I mentioned this in a previous episode of this Marathon series, but a guy on YouTube made a theory video saying that, like, there's a female presence that gets alluded to in some secret terminals of Marathon 1, and he thinks that that was another female AI, which would probably be Cortana. Like, what other female AIs are there? And Mandalore briefly mentioned this in one of his Marathon videos, and this is not something I learned from him. I actually knew this, and I think everyone who played Halo 1 as a kid also knows this. But as soon as you get a weapon with ammo on Halo 1 in the Pillar of Autumn, as a little kid, I immediately just turned around and started shooting everybody. all the humans, and if you kill enough humans, they will turn on you, and after they either once they turn on you or after they kill you, because it's pretty hard, you don't have enough ammo to kill the whole ship. Um, Once they do kill you, the Cortana will say, oh, alert, the Master Chief has gone rampant. And um, well, essentially, the subtext of Marathon Infinity is that you are going rampant, and but the thing is that humans aren't supposed to be able to go rampant. So so it makes sense that Marathon Guy has an AI chip in his brain. That's what caused him to go rampant. Master Chief has never been explicitly stated to have an AI chip integrated into his brain, like it's not part of his brain. Like Cortana's in his brain, but she's not part of his brain, if that makes sense. That's not part of the current Halo story as far as I know. But I'm almost certain that if Master Chief wasn't meant to literally be Marathon Guy, um, then he would be like Marathon. One of the there were actually 11 Mjolnir recon cyborgs, um, and you know. I don't think that the plot point of Spartans being enlisted, kidnapped child soldiers had been thought of yet, um, by the time of Halo 1. So I'm sure that Master Chief was originally supposed to be a dead soldier that was reincarnated, with Mjolnir recon technology. Just they're both called Mjolnir. Master Chief's armor is called Mjolnir, just like Marathon Guy, um, and there are a lot of connections, and they're never explicitly stated to be connected. There are all these little bits and pieces that we, the fans, kind of put together on our own, and I think that was intentional. I think they left these common themes, but didn't directly allude to them, because that would give them the leeway to be like, oh, well, they're not actually connected. It's just like poetry; they rhyme. They could. It could be plausible. They'd be like, oh no, it's just like we're just reusing our ideas, you know. So, uh, but I think that that's just very interesting. That's why I like Marathon so much. Like the game's fun. I've talked at length about why the game's fun and why the game makes you feel a certain way, and why I think that's good. And but on top of all that, the story is just, it's fascinating. It's just like, it's very hard to to talk about this with a normal person, because they're just like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Even some of my friends who are really into reading and science fiction and like good narratives and stuff, I try to explain this stuff, the Marathon story, to them, and they just, it's all lost on them. Like you really, this is something that you can't like force on other people. You have to kind of just deep dive into the rabbit hole yourself. You got to read all the terminals, put all the connections together yourself. But once you do, it's incredible. It's like, I mean, this is all text. I can't see any of this stuff, but it's like it's all just so vivid in my mind. All these concepts, and um, it's just a very, I never thought that a text based story like this could be good. I'm not a reader. I don't read books, but you know, I do have appreciation for good writing, and this is just, it's still to this day. A lot of people say this is the best FPS story ever written, and I don't know if I go that far, because I haven't played every FPS that exists. Every FPS is a good story. I'm sure there are some ones. There's probably some game that I haven't fucking played that everyone says is better than Marathon, but like this goes to show why Bungie was at the top when they were, because even back when games looked like this, uh, back when this was the pinnacle of gaming, back when this was all they could do, like they still put all this effort in, and I've already talked about this, but like they just did a good job. This was a very small team. Let's read the credits. Yeah, dude, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 names, and like 3 of them are repeated. There's Jason Jones, Greg Kirkpatrick, Reginald, not Jason Jones. Okay, Ryan Allen, Alexander Seropian, Reginald DeJure. That's a great name. Jason Jones, Greg Kirkpatrick, Alex Seropian, Doug Zartman. He's the voice of Bob. And then the last two are duplicates. So that's only 8. There are 8 people. This game was made by 8 people, dude. That's amazing. It's actually it's incredible, you know. But Myth and Destiny have this thing called the Nine, and the Nine is a reference to the fact that there was a team of 9 people that made Myth. But Marathon, I don't know. There's only 8 people, so it's just my hat goes off to these guys. It's been 32 years since they made this, and the game is so old. They gave it away for free. They released the source code, and it's just it does hurt that this game is being reincarnated and paraded around with an experimental AI chip shoved into its brain, but in all the worst way possible with the new Marathon game. But we don't have to play that new Marathon game. We can always come back to this. It exists. It's on Steam. Working Kaganter made this amazing Aleph 1 port with all these modern, extra features, and it's just I wish that this game were more popular and more people really understood, just how good this game is, because it really is. It's a special game. It really is. This is a piece of art, and I look forward to coming back to play this in a year or two after. I just played through it. I don't really have the desire to go back and play through Marathon 1 again now. It does have its some grating parts gameplay wise, but would be an excellent game to watch a playthrough of or watch a lore video of. So it's just I wish more games were like this, and I don't think we're ever going to get another game quite like this. And but the closest we could get is to have a game made by people who care, and that's why indie games are becoming so much more popular than AAA games, is because a lot of these AAA games, it's just really obvious that the people making them don't care. But indie games are almost always made with care, because they're when you can't make a game look really impressive and flashy, you have to actually make it be a good game. Like graphics are misleading. Just because a game has good graphics doesn't mean it's fun, and just and doesn't mean it has a compelling story or good characters or whatever. And like a game can still be good even if it doesn't look good, and that's something that a lot of people. It takes a mature gamer to understand that, I think, and graphics aren't everything. Graphics are important, don't get me wrong, but they're not the most important. Gameplay is the most important. Immersion is the most important. Storytelling is important for a single player campaign. So, I just hope that I would love for newer game companies to take lessons from Marathon, but I fear that Bungie has tarnished the reputation of one of its best IPs with this new Marathon game, unfortunately. And I've already said it, but Bungie is a shell of their former selves, and makes me sad to see that they started at such a high level, and and Halo, and if we're being honest, Halo is probably better than Marathon. Halo 1, the Bungie era Halo is probably better than Marathon. Maybe the story is not quite as the lore is not quite as good, but from a gameplay perspective, Halo is absolutely better than Marathon. I don't think anyone's gonna try. People will try to debate that, but I mean, how could you debate that? It doesn't mean that Marathon's bad. Like, Halo came out after Marathon. It came out 7 years after Marathon. Of course, it's gonna be a better game. It's made by an expanded version of the same team, essentially. I don't think Greg Kirkpatrick is part of he had left the company by the time Halo came out. I think by the time Marathon Infinity came out, because Marathon Infinity is technically not made by Bungie, but it's made by Greg Kirkpatrick. But um, I feel like I've been saying the same thing for like 20 minutes now. So I'll just end it there. I thank you very much for watching. As always, this was a very fun experience. I like being able to go through these games and just kind of externalize all the internal thoughts I have about them. It feels good to, not that I need to get something off my chest or anything, but it just feels good to kind of articulate your feelings sometimes about something that you care about. And you know, I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. I hope that you don't think I'm too rambly. You know, like I only talk this much about the game because I care, and I hope that my goal is to make you guys feel the same way about Marathon that I do with any of these games. Is I just want to help people understand why I like the game, and hopefully that will help them like the game, and see it the way that I do, see it through my eyes. So I will end that here. We will continue with Marathon 2 Durandal. Thanks again, guys. I will talk to you later.